How's it going, rejects? We just watched Bill and Ted 3 Face the Music. We actually did a reaction to it. It's just a watch along where you sync up with the time code. We thought it'd be fun if you guys wanted to check that out. There's a link in the description box, a Vimeo link. You should be able to download if you want to make life easier for you. So we have a reaction there because we did quite enjoy this movie a lot. We're going to do a review for you guys right after this intro. But if you want to do a watch along, go to that description box and pin comment, and then meet us back here. So yeah, we just saw Bill and Ted 3 Face the Music. Here's the plot from IMDb to make life easier. Once told they'd save the universe during a time-traveling adventure, two would-be rockers from San Dimas, California find themselves as middle-aged dads still trying to crank out a hit song and fulfill their destiny. Along the way, they got marriage problems. They got
kids.
They got kids.
Adequacy to deal with.
Also are trying to mainly save their own asses by trying to steal from themselves in the future. So you run into a lot of really wacky music-based adventures. I gotta say, this movie is pretty much exactly what I wanted. Everything I've been saying from any trailer reaction you guys might have seen from us, it 100% delivers here. Both Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter returning in these roles is really funny, and I thought they did a really great job working with how they've aged and still keeping the personalities where we last saw them in Bogus Journey, but it doesn't have that odd effect, kind of like Dumb and Dumber 2. Doesn't seem like they're really working with the fact that they've aged at all, so it just seems like they're trying to be like how they were decades ago. They've really let them age but still kept that bro-y dude personality from them.
Yeah, and they make it an obstacle for them to overcome even. And I think that's something that really helps this to work, is that Bill and Ted have always sort of been on the edge of being failures in various ways, and that's part of the fun, is watching them try and, triumph.
Yeah, I mean, Keanu Reeves brought me some huge laughs. You see a lot of different versions of them throughout this film, and I really liked every single time Keanu Reeves was embodying a different version of Ted.
Yes.
He really had a lot of fun with that. And they seem to take a bit of a psychological approach with not too heavy. It doesn't go like way in your face and they're trying to be the super deep movie.
No.
But with having this element of heart and a little bit additional nuance based into the psychology of these guys actually does elevate it just a tad bit more above the others in terms of the character department.
Yeah. I think what really, really helps this to work is the fact that they do take Bill and Ted and play them for genuine characters. And I think part of the magic of the series overall, but something that carries heavily into this movie, is Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter just have such chemistry, and they both really commit to Bill and Ted. You can tell that they're not judging the characters, they're just being them. And also Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, who I guess created the characters like in an improv group way back. You can really tell that they care about at least having them be characters with actual things to deal with, even if those things are whimsical or goofy. Aging is almost a happy accident for the franchise because it gives them plenty to work with.
You have these two other characters in here played by Samara Weaving and then Bridget Lundy Payne, Thea and Billy. They are the daughters of Ted and Bill, and they are great. I especially love Samara Weaving. They're both great, but Samara Weaving really stood out to me a lot in this one, and I feel like they do give her a little bit more of a lead and a little bit more differences and variation with her delivery.
Yeah, she's a bit more of the thrust, and then Bridget Lundy Payne is just full Ted. Like, she is like full Tedding it in this movie in a way that I really enjoyed.
You see them a lot in the trailers, and I love their chemistry. I love their level of support, and you got a whole bunch of fun cameos in here from all kinds of different musical artists or like portrayals of musical artists, and maybe there's a couple of real musical artists in here, and they always had a really nice surprise with them. This movie added so much more heart to it than the other ones, kind of like what we expected for it. There's pretty much my trajectory of my experience of the film. The first 10 to 15 minutes really funny, and then there were some jokes that started to kind of like fall a little bit flat, but once the adventure really started to kick in, there started being a lot of really nice surprises. There's this robot in the movie. movie. I don't want to give much away about it.
That's the thing, is there's so many surprises and fun little details.
And surprises on how they execute things, too.
Exactly, yeah, because there are a lot of times where it feels like the movie could be, trying to appeal to now, and they really cleverly avoid those things, I thought, yeah.
Because it feels different than the other two. The direction in terms of how it's captured and edited and the way the scenes play out. This is the director of Galaxy Quest, and I definitely got a lot of that same kind of sensibility.
And some in the production values, too, especially when there's a lot of CGI.
The other ones had a bit more of a raunchiness to them.
It's true. Yeah.
And this one really doesn't.
No, and
actually not at all. Now that I think about it,
not really. And it's funny
really
to me
sweet.
because I didn't even miss it, and partly too is just because it naturally feels like, but Bill and Ted have just gotten older, and they are so dedicated to their wives and trying to please the princesses, and they have, I think, giving them daughters was a really nice touch. And again, it doesn't have the raunch, but it also isn't Bill and Ted go to woke school. It's not distracting at all that it's missing, and it feels like a new iteration of Bill and Ted, but also a very natural follow-up to what has come in the past. And I thought they did a really nice job in coming up with their own game for this movie, what's going to be the kind of repeat gag, but also nodding to the historical figures of the first film, heaven and hell from the second film, and really bringing all that into what feels like one big world, trilogy.
Yes. Well, the stakes are a lot higher here compared to Bogus Journey. There's effects have greatly updated. Yeah. And they're just good. Actually, the hell sequence was really surprising in terms of like, wow, they really painted this. They brought this to life. Yeah,
demons flying around.
And there's also some surprisingly amazing makeup work in this movie.
There's some of the best old age makeup I've ever seen in this movie.
There's makeup work in this that kind of shocked me on how detailed and intricate it was. William Sadler reprising his role as Death. He still got it, man. Yeah, so funny. And they changed some of the dynamics just because they kind of update you a little bit on what happened after Bogus Journey with them. The way they've kind of shifted his character around, but the delivery and the comedic timing, it's still so sharp. It's still so there.
Yeah.
And this movie's not only nostalgia based. And the thing is, it feels kind of like a family film. It's about family, and it doesn't have that juvenile humor. And like you said, because I didn't even realize that until we started talking about it right now. Because we haven't talked about it at all since we watched it. We just started filming this right now, There's a celebration quality to it. The whole thing with the music really is felt. There's plenty of times where you're just like dancing along to it. This feels like an event, and I kind of wish we did watch it at a theater or a drive-in, Well,
and I think what for me that quality is that it just really exuded a love. Like I really felt like Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter wanted to do this. Like I can tell that this is like, to me, kind of the better or the best of what fan service can offer you, because it seems like everybody wanted this, and they definitely, at least from interviews, took their time to crack the story and make sure they had the right reason to come back. And people say that a lot, but I really felt it here because there is just so much love exuding from the movie. And even the stakes, like it's not like the second one where you have like a villain figure per se. And they also avoided things like making their daughters like really snide and hate that. Like there's so many things they could have done to make it more edgy or more now. And they really just led with, we all love Bill and Ted. We want them to succeed. They're oafs, so we know they're going to get into some hijinks along the way.
Well, you really feel the ticking time clock. Yeah. It's a very obvious
It's the movie's runtime.
It's the movie's runtime. It is. And I feel like they really constructed it to the runtime, which is pretty crazy. In movies, like a small example can be like, oh, we got 30 seconds till the bomb goes off. And you're like, 5 minutes have gone by.
Exactly.
But it seems like the movie is perfectly timed. Even though you're hopping around time, it seems like whenever they check in with how much time do we have left to deliver this song, it feels like it's in real time for these guys.
They're better at budgeting their time. So they don't have to remind Ted to wind his watch in this one.
I think they do a really amazing job at surprising you with how they can flip tropes here and there.
Yes, there are some hilarious examples of that here.
And while it does deliver on some things that are a little bit predictable and nostalgic towards like the first Bill and Ted especially,
there are some jokes. Yeah, there's some running jokes that continue through even.
The thing is, I feel like you do essentially have to be at least a Bill and Ted fan to like this movie.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's different. I don't feel like it would upset any fans. You know, that's the thing. That's what's great about it is while it feels different than the other two, I can still see fans of those two being like, oh yeah, this one's really good too. It's a good capper to the Bill and Ted trilogy.
Yeah, it feels really appropriate. And again, it does so much stuff to broaden out, but to also keep it in the family. And it has the quality that the first two movies have where it's compact. And yeah, there are some moments that aren't as amazing as others, but in the end, the movies are kind of like Bill and Ted themselves. They're jovial and fun and imaginative. And yeah, sometimes they're a little goofy, but ultimately they really know the soul, and it really shows from this. You know, like I was just smiling from ear to ear.
It was a really big laugh out loud experience throughout.
Yeah. Yeah. And after a weird week in the world, like it made me feel joy in the way like the love of cinema makes me feel joy, you know?
All right, guys. Well, did you see Bill and Ted Face the Music? Leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. Catch you later, dudes.